Well, hello everyone. Once again, I am a day late. I'm just like, not with it lately. So I finally got in there to get the glasses adjusted. They aren't falling off my face every time I lean forward. So that's making it a little bit easier, like on the motion sickness thing. I still can only wear them for short periods of time, and then I have to switch so that I don't end up feeling sick. But it's getting better. I think I need to go back one more time because it's just a little bit tight, like right behind the ears. It kind of pinches a little. But like 95% improvement over before. Anyways, tomorrow is market day. I have been trying to get some things remade. So I have a few remakes here. And I have like 4 new things. It was hard. It was really hard to decide on what I was going to make. I don't know. And then to stay focused and stay on track, it was even harder. So like some of these, the first thing I'm going to show you, I spent like Saturday doing it on and off. I was tired from the market the night before, but it was all that I got done for that day. And then on one of the other ones, I did part of them at night, finished them up the next morning. Then there was another one where it took me the whole day just to make 3 little items. I don't know. It was just like, I'd start off all gung-ho, and then it's like, ugh, I'm kind of bored. Set it down, walk away, come back, sit it down, walk away, come back. I spent a lot of time doing that. Mainly because I like to do new stuff. So having to do things on repeat can sometimes be a little tough for me, if you know what I mean. Okay, so let's start with, not in any particular order of how they were made, but let's do the free patterns first. So I started with mini Oogies, and these are from All Doodled Out Designs on Instagram. Now I do add a little bit to these because I just think it makes it look a little bit more like Oogie. So I add the eyelids with a surface crochet, and they all look a little different. I also add stitches around the edge. So it does add a tiny little bit more time to them, but they look so much better. So I did 3 in this, what's it called? Gray Cloud or something like that in Mystical. And then I did 3 in, not Spearmint, but the other green in Mystical. And again, add the little eyebrow or eyelids and the stitching on the side. So these are going to be a $10 item. They are just about the same size as the mini Scrump. A little bit faster, but I definitely think they're worth about $10. So, and again, friendly reminder, if I say my pricing, don't give me grief. Just don't give me grief on it. The last video, a few people got a little carried away, and just no grief. So the next free one was, of course, the mini Scrump. And these landed in my top 10 for bestsellers. I did manage to get 4 made. 6 would have been nice. I could probably make 2 more today, but it gets boring after a while making the same thing over and over, especially in one sitting. But if you could sit there and do, maybe 1 or 2 a day, then it wouldn't be so bad. But when you have, so little time in between markets, you kind of have to really batch make, and I am not a batch maker fan. But anyways, this is a free pattern on Ravelry from Crochet Grove. Now, I will say I did do one thing different this time than I have done in the past. I added 1 extra round to the body. I just felt like it needed a little bit more substance. I mean, they were selling fine the way she has them written, but I just felt like it needed that extra round. And then I use the dies to cut little button-shaped eyes. I actually looked in Walmart for real buttons, and my Walmart has no selection of buttons. So these got the felt. But when you look on Ravelry for her patterns, you can get Stitch, Lilo, Angel, Big Scrump, Mini Scrump, all for free. But when you go to Ravelry, you search Crochet Grove, all one word. Do not put a space between Crochet and Grove, or you will not find them. Just saying. So I had one other free pattern. And I made this yesterday. I just needed some bright cheery. And this is, I think it's pronounced Dr. Chaco _crochet on Instagram. Don't quote me on that pronunciation, but that's what it looks like it says. So we made this pumpkin, and I didn't show you these with my can. And it turned out a fairly decent size. It's a lot rounder than it is tall. I used the new Parfait Plush. I really like that yarn. I hope they expand their color line. But this is Carrot Orange. And then this is, I have just the tiniest little bit of terracotta left on the Sweet Snuggles, or Home Slim, one of those. The tiniest little bit left. So I did the brown arms, legs, and stem out of the terracotta. And this is also a Sweet Snuggles green color because I wasn't smart enough to order green in the plush. Or they were out. One or the other. It was probably me just not ordering it. I don't know. They run out of stock a lot. I don't know. But this was a super simple pattern to follow. And in usual knotting hook fashion, I made one little adjustment. Just one. I put 1 extra row or round, whatever you want to call it, in between the legs and the arms because I have short squatty stitches. So it needed a little lift, if you know what I mean. And I added a mouth. She does not have a mouth on hers. So this is the only one I made. And I really think it's adorable, but I don't want to get stuck with a lot of Halloween stuff. And I've made a few. And so far I have sold, other than the little Oogies, the gargoyle, and that was it. I haven't sold any of the other smalls. Now that it is October and people will be thinking more Halloween, hopefully I start to move some of them. I have, weather permitting, 3 markets in order to get rid of the Halloween stuff that I have made. But one adorable pumpkin. Now, if you did it without the faces and the arms and the legs, it would be a cute little pumpkin, plain old fall pattern, and you could have it through fall. Doesn't have to have the arms and the legs on it or a face. It could just be a cute little pumpkin. It's a nice shape. But anyways, this was a free one on Instagram. That is all the free patterns that I did. That was a lot. That was 11 items that I made from free patterns. Then in Monday's live with Heather, I made a couple of snakes because I pre-make the head, and then just doing the body and finishing it off is a lot easier for me to be able to do. I just have one that's already made in front of me, so I can keep checking to see if I'm long enough before I start to taper off for the tail. These two little snakes were what I made Monday night. Pretty close in the same color. They are both made out of chenille brights in the variegated. They come out about 16 inches long. It's kind of pointless to, I guess you could kind of see with that. It's a little, these were a couple of colors that the yarn was kind of stiff. But yeah, it's fine. I like to use these colors for Myrtle the Turtle, but I needed some bright colored snakes, and since we sold 3 of them at the last market of the ones that I had just made, I decided I needed to make a few more. 3 would have been ideal, but I was able to get to 2 of them Monday night. Oh, we have to limit our time because for some reason we get, if you get past an hour and a half, something happens and we lose the sound and everything. It just goes totally wacky. We had to cut our time down. So then the other remake, and these are very important because these are like my number 2 seller, I think. I've only had everything listed in my square since March, I believe. So it's only been tracked since March. And we sold like 30 something of these. Do I have my paper still here? I do not. Look at me, I threw away stuff. Anyways, so Myrtle the Turtle is in my top 2. It's either first or second. I'm pretty sure it's second place. And it was 30 something. And I can't be out of Myrtle. And I was down to 2, I think. So we sold 6 at the last market, which is probably the most I have sold at a single market of Myrtle. But that was because one person bought 3. So I restocked 6. And somewhere I have these colors written down. Okay, so I had to order some eyes off of Amazon, which I wasn't too thrilled about doing, but I was out of 22 millimeter, and I didn't order 22 millimeter. I ordered 20 millimeter. So these eyes to me look a little small compared to what I'm used to, but they still look good. So the first Myrtle that I did, here's your size. The body, or the head and the legs, are made out of shell, the color shell, and the turtle shell is made out of pink lemonade. I think it turned out really pretty. I had a tough time picking an eye color. I went with the darker pink, and for some reason, they give you a ton of that color on the glitter discs, and those are always the ones left over. So I think that one turned out really nice. Then this one is the legs, and the head is made out of periwinkle, and the shell is pastel. Some of them are the variegated and some of them are tie-dye. And this one got green eyes because there's a little bit of green in the shell. So all of these I think turned out really good. And what I did is I went on to Premier's site, and if you go into, like, click on one of the colors in the variegated or the tie-dye, the very bottom of the description, it has a link for you to go to a color chart, and it tells you what colors will go with those variegated or tie-dyes. So it made it really nice. It gives you like 4 or 5 different colors to choose from. So it made it nice to be able to have that and not to have to try and think of what goes with this on your own. The next one is out of Peach and Tropical Twist. This one is definitely a tie-dye. You can tell by how the colors work up. And she got some pretty green eyes. There's green in the shell. I love these. Now, this pattern is by Chastity and Design. And I do a couple of modifications to it. I do not make the tail that is in her pattern. When I get to the back part, you know, where the round that you're joining everything, I just chain 3 and I do a single crochet and a half double crochet to make the little turtle tail. And on my flippers, I add stitches to it, makes it look more, I think, like a leg. And I also face the leg in a different direction. She has that part be the top. I like the little bend. I think it makes it look a little more realistic. Obviously, there are not peach colored turtles out there. That is just how I like the legs to be faced. So that was 3. Then we did this one was going to be violet with Petal Power. No, this one is Petal Power. This was going to be violet with Petal Power, but then I decided that the violet was too dark. So I went with the tangerine orange with the shell. Why not? Some people really like orange. I happen to know that that is Nick's favorite color. And that is a tie-dye. And this one got purple eyes. So, but originally I had written down that I was going to use violet with it, and it was just too dark. Then, this one was supposed to be navy with groovy glow. And I decided to go with lime green because, again, I thought the navy was too dark. When I was first making my list of what colors I wanted to go with what, I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I thought it was a good idea until I actually pulled the colors, and then I was like, no, that's a little too dark. And then I was like, I don't have any turtles that the bodies, you know, the heads and the feet are in green. So we went with the kiwi, gave it blue eyes, and groovy glow. Also, another color that they said would go well with this was eggplant, which is also way dark. So I stayed away from those. Then I have one more, and this was an afterthought. I have the tiniest little bit of the whatever camo it is. It's the only camo in the tie-dye. But I had a little bit left, enough to do one turtle shell. So we did one of these. I think it's gorgeous. I absolutely love the colors in that camo yarn and sage green. And when it came to picking an eye color, since there were browns and creams in this, I went with gold, which is also another color I don't use very much of. But these things, they turn out so good. I love this pattern. it is one of my favorite patterns, but I can get bored with making them if I just sit there and make them on repeat, one after another, after another, after another. So this was done like 3 one day, 3 the next. It just, as cute as they are, and all the color palettes that you have for them, after a while, you know, you need to change up. Just saying, just saying. So then, a long time ago, I bought a pattern for a dachshund, wiener dog, whatever you want to call it. And I looked at the pattern and I was like, oh, heck no, boy, did I waste my money on this. But I went back to it, and I was using Sweet Snuggles Light, I believe, or Home Slim, one of those. And the head was just absolutely huge. I was like, oh, no, I don't need a life-size dog. I don't want to do it. And I stopped at the head. I eventually just gutted it, pulled all the stuffing out. Ouch. Frogged it, did all that. And sat that pattern aside again. And then I decided, let me go back to it one more time and try it in Parfait Chunky and see if the size would be, I mean, usually we go up in yarn size to make it bigger, but the head was just absolutely huge. And I was just like, I was scared to finish it. So I started it in Parfait Chunky, and once again, the head is huge. I think it comes out very huge for the body, but it's kind of okay. I'm a little crooked on some of the things. There is a lot of sewing in this. If you do not like to sew, this is not the pattern for you. Because you sew all 4 legs on, you sew the ears on, you sew the tail on, you sew the head on. There's a lot of sewing. But this is the wiener dog. Look at the size of this head compared to the body. So this is front view with the can. And I mean, how long is this? This is his little sausage body is 9 inches long, and he stands to the top of his head 8 inches tall. He's a fairly decent size. Now, I don't know if you can tell. I can tell. And I probably shouldn't say anything at all, but I can tell. I made a mistake with my yarn colors. Now, in this pattern, it does not call for color changes like here. I did that on my own. It doesn't call for the color changes in the feet. I did that on my own. It does not call for the eyelids. I added that on my own. But what I did wrong is I grabbed a partial skein that I thought was teddy bear and a full skein of teddy bear. The head is made out of what I thought was teddy bear. One ear is made out of what I thought was teddy bear. Half of the other ear was made out of what I thought was teddy bear. But you can see right in here. At first I thought, now this is the first time this has ever happened to me, that the colors didn't match. But it turns out I started with acorn, I believe is what it is, and then I switched to teddy bear. But I thought I was starting with teddy bear. So he is a couple of different colors. Like the way the light is hitting this, I can really see the difference. going this way from this side. You can kind of see here. I'm kind of bummed about that, but since it's going to be night markets, maybe it won't be so noticeable. This is a Rose and Lily pattern, and I have to say I'm not a huge fan of their patterns. I've tried a few, and I think the first one I ever tried was the Stingray, and I couldn't get it. Now, maybe now that I am a lot more experienced than I was then, I would be able to do it, but I just couldn't. And I know people like Mary, she absolutely loves Rose and Lily. A lot of people do. Just, I haven't revisited, other than this, their patterns. So, I mean, it is an interesting shape. Maybe I wouldn't, if I would have used the same color yarn. I don't know. The lighting sometimes inside is just so horrible. And I'm like, I'm not starting over. I just kept going. So, this one is, oh, I forgot to say, Oogies are 10, mini scrumps are 10, snakes are 10. That pumpkin is probably going to be 15, maybe. I don't know for sure yet. I'm still thinking on it. Myrtle the turtles are 15. This guy, oh, he's probably going to be about 30-ish. I don't know. I mean, I like to sell my plushies. I don't like to bring them home constantly. I don't know, probably in the $30 range. So I did that. Then I bought another pattern, which is actually the only pattern that I paid for this week, because I had the wiener dog for a long time, just never made it. The two after what I'm going to show you are modifications, and the mods are free, but you have to have the regular pattern. But Myrtle I've had for a long time. Those other ones up there were free. I only bought one pattern this week, so I think I did pretty good. So I bought the Oak and Marlowe, I believe she calls it the bedtime set, but it has a cat, a dog, and a bunny in it. Now, I already had a bunny, but that bunny is different from this bunny. And I did not make any of the accessories to go with it. For the amount of time that it took me to make them, and I wanted to be able to keep these at a $20 price point because they go in my 3 and under section, you know, safer for babies. I took what I had made before, the fox, the deer, the other rabbit that I had that has the headband with the ears that stick up, is what I had left, and a mouse. They did not have the safety eyes in them, so I moved them over to that section, and I've sold them all. So I thought, I need to make some more of those because they like them. And I wanted a cat and a dog is the main reason I got this package. Now, the dog turned out so good, but I did do one thing, because on these patterns, the heads are just balls, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. It's very difficult to get the face shaping the way she does it. For me, anyways. Some people might do fantastic with it. I know the other bunnies I took my time with, and I was able to get it to look decent. But I just didn't want to struggle. I wanted to take the easy way. So in the dog part, there is a modification that comes in the pattern package to make it a pug. And I was like, why does it have to be just the pug? Why can't that be the muzzle? So I did that round that would be for the pug for the regular dog. And this is what I got. I think he turned out really cute. The only thing that he is missing is a tail. I will go back and add a tail. I have to pull out whatever yarn I used for this. I have to try and figure it out because it was a remnants of something. No, it wasn't. The bunny was a remnants. This is mushroom. I can do it. So I'm going to surface crochet a little tail on this guy because he needs a tail. He needs a tail. He is not a Doberman. Then in this package, oh wait. So they're very tall because the legs are so long, but if you just go from the body, it's decent. And I just gave him little dashes for eyes. His little nose looks a little crooked. Yeah, I liked the dog. Now, my favorite one in that package, obviously, is the cat. And this one is done with Mystical. I believe this color is called Canyon. And Antique White in the Chenille Brights. I did add a tail to this one. I had to. It's a cat. It needs a tail. Now, I did it after the fact, and I sewed it on. Next time, I will know better to make a tail ahead of time. That way, I can just crochet it in the round. Arms are sewn on. Ears are sewn on. You make the two legs separate, and then you join them and work the body, and then go straight into the head. That is why the head is a little round ball. But again, you could probably, on the cat, add like 2 puff stitches so that it has a little muzzle. I will try that next time I do it, but for now, he's just got a little round head. And, you know, these are for babies, so I think it'll be fine. But I do like I love how the colors worked out. All the color changes, it's very cute. And then the last one was the bunny. And it's a little plain because I just did it solid, hoping that this yarn would do its thing and just do the natural color changes, which it did not. It absolutely did not. But this bunny has the floppy ears, and he has fur for the tail. So he's got the cotton tail, which is done surface crochet. And again, I could not get the face shaping, so I'm thinking when I'm not so rushed, I'm going to try and do some puff stitches or bobble stitches, probably puff stitch because they'll blend together better, and see if I can't make some type of little snout for some shaping there. But these really, they're easy makes. The legs are very long, but they don't take a long time to make. It's just when you're moving the way I was moving this week, everything seemed like it took forever. I can't explain it. Everything felt like it took forever. Oh my gosh. So it's starting to... right up in the back of the ear. It's a little tight there. Okay, so I have been watching all the modifications coming out for Shannon's splooting patterns. Oh my gosh, there are so many cute ones. And it was like, do I want to make the deer? Or do I want to do one of these 2 modifications? So I was showing Heather, and I'm like, which one do I want to make? And she picked the one for me to make. Then it was, what size eyes am I going to use? Because, again, with my short squatty stitches, mine tend to come out smaller than other people's. Pattern says to use 30 millimeter. I can't. To me, it would just swallow the whole face. I can't do it. So I put a 30 and a 25, took a picture. Which one do I use? Heather says, go with the 30s. And I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, yours come out bigger than mine. She's yarn over versus my yarn under. Ouch. I can't do it. So I went with 25s. And I looked it up to see what color it was in the... I got these lifted up off the back of my ear. I looked to see what color it was according to the cartoon, and it was purple. So then I'm like, all right, what color purples do I have? And I'm like, I have dusty mauve. Is that a purple? Try to take it over into the right light, and it was. And then iris, I believe, is the other purple. And then I just went for the inside of the ears with regular mauve. When it came time to put the eyes in, I took a picture of all my color discs, and I'm like, Heather, what color should I use? So other than the colors, Heather decided what I was going to do on this one. This is a modification for Shannon's Lily the Lamb pattern. And the mod is by Cat Magic 19. And it is a heffalump. This thing is adorable. Now, in the lamb pattern does not have toes on it. And in the modification, they're not very clear on which way you fold the leg to get the little toes to face the right way. So I didn't close mine off until I came to the part where I have to attach it so that I can sit there and play with it. And I still couldn't envision it. Like, my mind was just drawing a blank. I couldn't figure it out. So those might not be right. But when it sploots, the toes go down, which if you were laying down, your toes would be down. But when it sits, they kind of turn sideways, like he's a little bow-legged, pigeon-toed, whatever. The front ones I did fine. This was, other than that, super easy to bounce back and forth between the modification and the pattern. Now, I did add the little hair sprouts. That was not in the pattern, but if you look up pictures of heffalump, it's got a little hair, so I had to add some hair. But Heather picked silver for the eyes to go with the mauve. This is Parfait Chunky. He is very tiny, I think, very tiny. But all the sploots, I'd put at $30. So he will be $30. And then yesterday, during Heather's Live, I was working on another modification for one of Shannon's patterns. And this one is by Bonnie in a Blanket, the modification for Cookie the Cat from Shannon. And I did mess up the body. So don't look at that. I am going to decapitate this plushie and adjust the body pattern. This one was not as easy to follow, bouncing back and forth from modification to actual pattern. So yeah, I'm going to take the head off and fix the body. But we have Hello Kitty. I think I sewed the head up a little high. But anyways, it's cute. Mine did not turn out half as cute as the person that wrote the modification, but I do need to fix the body. I got lost. When you get up to like rounds 13, 14, and 15 of the body is where it got confusing. So, yeah, I'm going to undo that part to about down to here and redo it. But I wanted to see how it was going to look. It's a little splitter. It's cute. I mean, I don't know. I could let it go, but it bothers me. I know that I messed up, so I need to fix it. So we did that. And that is everything that I made this week. Right now, I am charging my lights. 2 are finished. I can switch over. And I tried to put some of my stuff away. It's hard to get around everything in here right now because all the plushie bags are spread out behind me on the floor. I had to pick through them to find 5 plushies to ship off to somebody. And yeah, the mess just piles up. It's easy to get out of control. Super easy to get out of control. All right, you guys, I have a ton of stuff to do, and I'll see you Sunday, maybe. I'm sure, possibly. You know, we'll see you in the next video.